Hi everyone, this is a recording of a presentation that myself and DJ did at Inhouse Recruitment Network live in May. Just due to a high number of people asking for kind of a copy of the presentation, we've done a re-record for you guys today. So my name is Warren Davidson. I am head of digital marketing at Format, been in recruitment about 18 years, head up our digital marketing function looking at SEO, content marketing and digital advertising.
And I'm DJ. I'm an account director at Format. Like Warren, I've been in recruitment for a fairly long time and marketing for the last 15 or so years. So this is an opportunity to give you some insight into some of the things that you can be doing now in terms of marketing, but also longer term in terms of what you can do with your career website.
So at Format, we we build careers websites that seamlessly integrate with your ATS, and we often get lots of different questions about digital marketing and the website. So today we're going to kind of cover off both sides of a digital marketing strategy. The first piece, I'm going to talk about how we get people to the website in the first place and some of the basic elements of a digital marketing strategy, and then DJ is going to talk about some of those must-haves for a career website. And things like UX and ATS integration as well. So to kick off with the basic elements of a digital marketing strategy, for us these are kind of the 5 main areas that you guys need to be thinking about when you're coming up with a digital recruitment marketing strategy. Going from left to right, so conversion rate optimization is all about those continuous 1% improvements to your website. So if you have the same level of traffic, conversion rate optimization is designed to deliver more CVs or more applications or more conversions through the website. So it's those kind of 1% incremental improvements. Simple things like just changing the color of a button and seeing what impact it has on your applications. Recruitment SEO, really important with Google for Jobs going live in July last year. From our own experience, we also know that Google provides some of the best quality candidates in the market as well. Content marketing, again, really important from a SEO point of view to drive your rankings, but also for you guys to be able to tell your story as well. And then, of course, active and passive digital advertising. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. I do feel that both in the employers and in the recruitment agency sector, we spend a bit too much money on active advertising and not enough on the passive advertising. And certainly we get asked about quality of candidates every single month. And so that's certainly one way that you can really start to drive the quality of candidates coming through your website. And of course, we all have those creative campaigns, either by job title, location, sector that we're running from one quarter to the next, as you get those kind of peaks and troughs and demands from your internal resourcing teams. So just taking those individually now, conversion rate optimization is something that you really need to be doing every single month, not once every 6 months or once a year. It's something that should be done every single month. Your website is a kind of a living, breathing entity that needs to be improved. So DJ and I have talked about conversion rate at a number of different events. So you work your conversion rate out by dividing the number of conversions or applications divided by your traffic, and that'll give you a feel for how good your website is converting candidates. So this is stuff that you can do yourself. You don't necessarily have to employ a digital marketing agency to review these kind of things. You can look at your application process. You can see how easy it is for a candidate to join your talent community. A lot of you will have integrations with CRM such as Avature. Can a candidate easily get in touch with you guys or one of your resourcing teams? Are the call to actions in the right place? So we know that 50% of candidates will come to a blog or a job rather than the homepage. So are those pages suitably optimized with the correct call to actions to get people recycled and through the website? And what's simple stuff like what's your most popular piece of content again, so you can influence your content marketing strategy and make sure you've got the right calls to actions on those content pages. Digital advertising is a key area where we think you can help to drive the quality of candidates. There's been a lot of changes in digital advertising over the last 12 months. We know that Indeed are going to ultimately remove recruitment agencies from their platform. So that just means that the Indeed platform for everybody has become more competitive. Job boards already been removed from Indeed. So again, they are now using Google PPC, Google Display Network. So that's become more competitive. And we've certainly seen a lot lot of our clients who were Google for Jobs ready when it went live last year saw the spike, and then as the market has caught up, things have started to calm down, but again got a lot more competitive. So you've kind of got two sides to your digital advertising. The active advertising, so Indeed and Google PPC. We've purposely removed or not talked about job boards in today's presentation because we want you guys to invest in your own brands and your own websites, not in someone else's intellectual property. So again, Indeed and Google PPC, couple of things you can do here. Make sure you're identifying negative keywords so that you are improving the quality of your candidates and excluding the easy to find roles. And again, with Google PPC, it's really about quality score, so making sure that you're sending candidates to good quality landing pages. But again, I think a lot of us within the industry, we just don't do enough of the passive advertising. Again, if we're going to drive up quality of candidates, all the active candidates are on the left hand side there, and theoretically the higher quality candidates are on the right hand side. So that's things like social media advertising your content to get those passive candidates into a piece of content before they apply for jobs, and then display advertising like programmatic Google display, and things like retargeting are really helpful tools for particularly for those passive candidates. So if they come to the website and view a piece of content and then a job, you can retarget them with adverts over the coming month. So again, that right hand side is really going to help you guys to drive up the quality of the candidates that are going through your website. SEO, some basic pointers here from a recruitment SEO point of view. Create a keyword deck, very straightforward thing to do based on your jobs and your content. I'll give you an idea of what you want to rank for. You can again just do the simple things and go into Google, do some searches that you want to rank against, and see what your competitors are doing as well. So how are they ranking? What are they doing? What's their content look like? Do they have effective job landing pages? Landing pages are kind of a key tool within SEO to make sure that you have good landing pages for your main job titles and locations, and that will help you get more traffic from Google. Inbound links are another important piece of the jigsaw, particularly if you have a old established website. It can quite getting under link attack is something that we see quite regularly, and it's important that you review those things to keep on top of your inbound links, because that will really have an impact on your rankings. And of course, make sure all your jobs are visible to Google. DJ's going to talk about this in a sec, but a lot of ATSs actually hide jobs from Google so they can't be indexed. So again, it's really important that Google can read the job title, the location, and the description. And content, again, is really important, both from an SEO point of view and from a brand building point of view. So again, we don't really do any content without some SEO, and we don't really do any SEO without some content these days, because they are so intrinsically linked. Don't plan more than 3 months ahead. Again, things change very quickly in business. You will all have your own internal pressures and demands from different teams, different resourcing managers. So again, try and be as fluid as you can with the content you're producing. But again, it should be 75% brand building or employer brand. So it's all about telling your story and making potential candidates feel warm about your business. But again, there needs to be 25% to support SEO. So again, creating content that contains the keywords that you want to rank against. Internal linking is really important, again something that people quite often miss. So again, if you're looking at a piece of content about a certain area, about a certain job title, link to those landing pages, link to relevant previous blogs as well. And make sure you spread out your posts as well. We see quite often people get excited about content, they write 3 or 4 pieces, they post more in the same day, and they miss out on that ongoing marketing and SEO value. And deliver a variety of content is really important as well. Again, creating that day-to-day, month-to-month blog is really important, both from a brand building point of view and from an SEO point of view. But I think delivering things like interviews, infographics, how-to guides, just mixes it up a little bit, and can also help you to answer some questions that candidates might have. And also, again, we are all quite obsessed with creating new content, and that's really important. But that piece of content you wrote a year ago that answered a question that you heard from a candidate is still relevant today. So make sure that you review and re-optimize your old content, because quite often you can get some quite quick wins from content that you've already created in the past. And for us, content really falls into three main categories. Or it's kind of we call it the content pyramid within Format. So again, our websites are very much designed around this content pyramid. So it's all about the jobs on the website. Obviously, important they're visible from Google. Actual profile pages of your resourcing teams, their individual profile pages. So that will have on it a little bit about them and their jobs, and also their content. And then of course your content within Knowledge Centre. So that's usually, as I said before, blogs, infographics, that kind of stuff. So again, these three corners of the content pyramid should really help to move candidates around the website. Just from an SEO point of view, there are 7 types of content that dominate SEO results. So this is kind of some kind of hints and tips as to how you can start to create content for your potential candidates. We love to ask questions to Google. So who, what, where, when, why. If you can kind of work out what the questions are that candidates are asking about your business, that's a great place to start. Start with those 5 W's. How-to instructions, tips and hints, how to create a CV in engineering, for example, that kind of stuff for your specific industry, really important. Definitions, we all have acronyms or particular terms within our individual industries that we can write about and explain to potential candidates. Comparisons, price cost breakdowns, a little bit more consumer, but again, best lists, best company to work for, frequently asked questions, again, all stuff that candidates are crying out for and looking for when searching for a new job. Just to give you a quick example of this, I wrote a blog about when Indeed removes organic traffic in the US in January, and again, it's a classic when answer. When is Indeed organic traffic turned off? And it's actually being turned off in 7th of January this year. We wrote a piece of content about it on the Format website, and this actually achieved a 0 results position in Google. So this is the kind of stuff that we are trying to get and trying to achieve with our content marketing. And there's the article on the Format website. So why is this stuff all important? Well, this has kind of been well documented and well signposted in the news, even this week as well. The UK unemployment rate has never been as low as it is now, as low as it's been since the 1970s. So we can certainly see that unemployment is going down, and conversely, the number of jobs posted, this is from the Office for National Statistics, has been steadily increasing for pretty much the last 10 years. So the market has never been more competitive. So it's really important that you get that digital marketing piece right, get the right type of candidates to the website before you convert them.
Cool. So what Warren's saying there is there's a lot of things that you can do to really help attract candidates to your website, engage them with great content, which is ultimately whether they're active or less active, is bringing people through to actually view your career site and ultimately apply. But fundamentally, it's all very good getting people to the website, but you've got to make sure that it actually works. And one of the classic that I make no excuse for mentioning again is that like couples on their phones texting each other, actually your applicant tracking system and your career site don't actually talk. And what I mean by that is in terms of, if you look closely at these little snapshots of the websites, we've got at the top there, we've got Ernst & Young, which is actually the jobs all exist on Taleo.net, Kingfisher, B&Q. So if you click through from B&Q to actually search for a job, you end up on the Kingfisher Taleo platform. Mondelez use Avature, SNC Lavalin Workday there, which is one of the reasons we're doing when we move Atkins and SNC together as a global platform, that they will be fully integrated with Workday as Atkins is with Taleo. And then we have Michelin, again Workday, and Worley there in terms of formerly Worley Parsons with iSIMS. So effectively, most of your content and effectively your foundations, for want of a better word, actually exist on a completely different platform, and from Google's perspective, a completely different website. So in the worst case scenario, they're actually being hidden. In the best, it's being difficult for them to actually be found. And what does that actually mean in reality? So on the left here, we look at the old Vodafone career site before we started working together over 18 months ago. And the box there, you can see that Google actually can only see 16 pages of the Vodafone career site, which, for a company like Vodafone is incredible. And then if you look to the right, when we launched their career site integrated with Taleo last year, you can see that they had 3,720 pages that Google could see, and that's because every single vacancy could be found by Google and actually indexed. So yeah, the foundations were incredibly strong to actually start building authority and tell Google what your actually website's all about. So yeah, the most basic thing is, in terms of if you want your career site to be that it's most effective, and this is the elephant in the room, is that your jobs need to be on your career site domain, not on your ATS. They need to be pulled out of your ATS and pulled into your career site. And as you can see there on the bottom icon, a very client we've been working with for a long time. The website's probably about 6 years old now, but as you can see, the URL is their career website, and you can see a job there, Director Clinical Operations. Makes it very easy for Google to actually work out what it's all about. So it's all about making life easy. So these are some examples here where you've actually got the jobs that could appear from a layman's perspective to be on the career site, but then actually have a look at that URL. So instead of being descriptive, like the bottom one there, the AA, Account Manager Sales, the actual job details, the actual URL which Google indexes is actually ID equals 55894. Now, unless we live in a dystopian environment, we've all got job titles and we've all got names. So again, make it easy for Google to understand and work out what the actual page is about. And that's really important when it comes to Google for Jobs. As Warren mentioned, Google for Jobs has been live in the UK now since July last year, and initially we saw a real spike in traffic with our clients that were already optimized, but people are beginning to catch up, especially in the recruitment agency and job boards, but unfortunately employers lag behind. And what that means, sorry to pick on the AA again, but it's a classic example here. You've got, if you search for jobs at the AA or AA careers, what you see here is effectively the listing that Google for Jobs sees. Now, we won't talk about the fact that the logo is all very different, but if you notice, it says via Total Jobs, via Glassdoor, via LinkedIn. And what that means is effectively you're reliant on your job boards to actually get you into Google for Jobs. So here, roadside mechanic, apply on Total Jobs, apply on Recruit.net, apply on SE1 Jobs, apply on Savannah Recruitment, or whatever that may be. So effectively, you're having to actually pay job boards to basically get traffic to your career site. So you can test this. You just search for Google Rich Test Results Test. And you'll basically get a little the URL there, and you put in the actual, put as a search your actual job URL, the URL that you see from when you click on a job. As you can see on the left, we've got the AA careers here, page not eligible for rich test results. So it can't be seen by Google for Jobs, whereas on the right, we see Harrods careers vacancy, whereas the page is eligible for it, and that's why they appear in Google for Jobs. So it's quite a simple test. I'm not saying you're going to solve this overnight, but it is something you need to look at working on. So, some of the basic things, you need to do, and that's the long-term objective, because when you've actually got everything together on your career site, you can actually start doing some really cool stuff. So think about retail, and I make no apology for, and we as a business make no apology for implementing a lot of things that you see on retail sites. And the term "we shop for jobs" is very true. How we shop, whether we're browsing or whether we're active, is very similar in terms of recruitment and shopping. In terms of if I'm researching a TV, I'm looking for things around it. I'm looking at reviews. I'm looking at testimonials. But then I go into active mode and I want to be able to search specifically for that TV and buy it quickly. So many people will have been shopping. I'm sure people recognise the sort of emails that you can get in terms of when you've actually started to make a purchase but not actually completed. So the classic example is you want something. You search on the web. Invariably, you'll start your search on Google. You go to a website, whether that's Richer Sounds have been in the news today, whether that's Amazon, whether that's Currys, whether that's John Lewis. And you go through the process, and you decide, okay, I'm going to make it, and then you get what we call the buying fear or distraction, and that could be as simple as I haven't got my credit card on me. Oh God, I need to get that. I'll do that later. But you start the process, and invariably the first stage is actually they ask for your email address. So loads of people get to that point and then potentially abandon. So it's an abandoned purchase. So the website knows it. So they email you and say, hey, you've forgotten something. Come back. And that's the approach that we can take as well. So this is an example of a landing page for Vodafone, all about big data. So it's designed to give insight into what they're doing globally around big data. So fraud management, convergence, and there's lots of little calls to action as you go down the page. Not necessarily to get somebody to actually apply, although there's a link, in terms of view all jobs in big data. It's to give insight into what's actually going on with them, and to really start saying, you need to talk to us, you need to find out more. And that's something that's really taken from a consumer point of view. Think about when Apple launched a new iPhone, they create landing pages, people go to it, they find out, they get a desire, they get excited, and at some point in the near future they're going to buy. So imagine then you click on view all jobs and you find a vacancy. So you find a business analyst role within the digital and the big data. It's in Newbury, you're interested, but you haven't got your CV on your phone. So you started the process, you've put in your email address, and then you think, oh, hold on, I haven't got my CV, I'll do that later. But we've captured that email address. So in a half an hour's time, whatever, an email is sent out saying, hi, we're really excited you're interested. Here are 3 reasons why you should think about joining Vodafone. And this is some of the functionality that's going to comes through the Attract platform that's going live in the next few months. So it's a really exciting step forward in marketing automation and improving the conversion rate of applications. But it's one of those things. In case if you do all of this great stuff, it's all on your career site. Then there's one thing that you always need to think about, and that is the application process. How many people recognize this, whether it is Taleo, SuccessFactors, Workday? The first thing you're presented with when you apply is sign in. Log in to apply. I'm sorry, imagine having to do that from a retail perspective. You'd never end up buying things because you say, I just want to buy something, which is why so many companies like John Lewis have introduced guest checkout. So you don't need to create an account straight away and go through all of that rigmarole. This is SuccessFactors. Again, career opportunities, sign in. How unfriendly is that? All you want to do is get somebody to actually complete a simple application form and you to get their CV so you can actually help them. Whether they're good for the job or whether, if they're not, then don't make them jump through hoops. You can see from the CV, unfortunately not suitable, send them a nice email, everybody's happy. And because of that approach with an applicant tracking system, you see between 50 and 80% of people actually abandon their application. Now imagine you were a retailer and 50 to 80% of your customers got to the till and then didn't pay, they walked away. It would be a recipe for disaster. Why do we accept that with recruitment? So with the final part is in terms of think retail. On the left you see John Lewis. On your right, you see Vodafone's Quick Apply. You can see the similarity. You can see why clients like Vodafone are converting at sort of like 26% of their unique visitors and 78% of their people that start the applications actually complete. The results are outstanding. So, okay, this is all very good. I know you're not going to be able to change your ATS integration with your career site overnight. You've got to budget it. You've got to put a business plan together. But what can you do now? So in terms of what you can do tomorrow or today is you can look at those digital marketing basics. You can get access to your Google Analytics account, talk to your comms teams, your marketing team to actually understand what's actually happening on the career site, what content are people looking at. And then you can look at how many visitors you're getting and then look at your applicant tracking system to see actually how many people actually apply from your career site, and that'll start giving you a career site, your conversion rate. You can check to see whether Google can actually see your jobs, so whether that's in the organic search or whether that's actually in Google for Jobs. So again, some of the things you can just check. This is about building the case for the future. But one of the key things that you can start doing absolutely now is creating great content. So you can work out what people are searching on or what you want to rank for in terms of what job titles you advertise on primarily, or what difficult job titles you have difficulty finding candidates, and then you can start telling that story. Get your employees to tell the story, interview people, find out what a day in the life of is like. So that's what people are interested in. It's your brand, and your stories will tell that story.